Cystic Fibrosis fundraiser. Thank you so much.
This was a bike-a-thon.
Growing up, when we would do these large CF fundraisers in the church basement, my parents would get up and give a speech, and they would always say, like, we're raising money so that Anna can go to college, so that Anna can get married, so that Anna can have a life. I can remember my mom saying to me once that she felt guilty that I was as healthy as I was, and that there were other CF patients who were sicker and their moms had to struggle watching them. And I never really understood what she meant until I was an adult and I saw some of my own friends die of CF. It's a very unique experience. The survivor's guilt that I feel, the only thing I can do about it is to keep fighting for those that have died and for those that don't have treatment yet.
We don't have a cure for CF. Yes, our quality of life has improved, but there's still a daily treatment burden. We still have CF.
Not everybody has a success story yet, and I would love to make sure that everybody does. Growing up with cystic fibrosis, I always knew that I was different, but I didn't look different. So it was hard to say that I was sick.
Even though I grew up having cystic fibrosis, I never thought the things that I had read about would happen to me somehow.
Our parents taught us the importance of doing our treatments, but always fit our treatments around our life because they didn't want us missing out on really exciting parts of childhood.
You just think you're healthy and you're fine, and then one day it sort of all starts crashing down.
I noticed a decline in my health 6 years ago. Both of my girls were in elementary school, and I was doing 2 hospital stays a year. My lung function was at 27%. We were discussing lung transplants.
7 or 8 years ago, my lung function was declining rapidly. I had to have the difficult discussion with my doctor where he said, I think it's time we need to look into spare parts.
The event that sort of changed it all was a clinic appointment, December 19th of 2018. Dr. Sala sat there and said, if your lung function continues on the path that it's been on, we will need to start discussing a lung transplant. And I was blown away. I drove home and panicked. I called my boyfriend at the time, and so he came home and he was wearing a suit, and I was like, why are you wearing a suit? This is so weird. I'm a mess. And he knelt down, and he just said that there was nothing any doctor could ever say that would make him not want to marry me, and he proposed. Worst day of my life turned into the best. I spent the year leading up to my wedding having these difficult conversations with my husband, like, we don't need to make a 5-year plan. Like, we need to make a 1-year plan because 5 years wasn't promised to me.
I was always thinking about how I'm going to leave this earth, I guess. What would my daughters think of me? My husband, is he gonna be a single dad? I slowly started writing letters to my daughters for graduation or a wedding or things just in case I wasn't there. Because regardless if I'm in front of you or above you, I will always be there.
They say when you get a lung transplant, you get some time, but you don't get a lot more time. So when Pat was on the list, I kind of cleared my calendar of a lot of social activities. I don't know if he ever really knew it, but I was definitely making the choice to spend a lot more time with him than I would have before.
As I was waiting for the lung transplant, the first modulator that was approved for Mankara's mutation came to the market. So we started it and my lung function stabilized.
I was having a really good response to this early drug.
Fast forward, the next generation came out and I actually started gaining lung function back. And then Trikafta hits the market and it was like flipping a light switch, night and day.
We felt it the first day. An entire lifetime, it seems like, of issues in the lungs just clearing up immediately.
I'll never forget the day I got the phone call that Trikafta was finally for my mutation. I just started crying, and I was like, this is it.
The FDA approved Trikafta 2 weeks before our wedding. My dad was able to give a speech to those same people who had been at the fundraisers 30-some years ago.
You folks have given Anna a shot at a normal life.
And fast forwarding, it did change my life. It worked. My body that I was so mad at for so long created a baby.
Now that I know I'm gonna be around, I'm so excited to see the women that my girls are growing into. I can take my letters that I wrote for my daughters and just put them in a box. And that's an amazing feeling. I could do this now. I didn't cough. I couldn't do that before.
The transplant pulmonologist, he was a very stern man. He said, your recovery has been nothing short of miraculous. And he doesn't throw that word around a lot. When I was waiting for the transplant, I had the mindset that when I got the transplant, I probably wasn't going back to work. New lungs last a finite amount of time, and I want to live my life and not be stuck in an office. I started banking up airline miles, and I said, well, after I get the transplant, I'm just going to use these and do a bunch of traveling. And then after Trikafta came out, I said, I guess I don't need those for the transplant, but I guess I can use them to celebrate how good I'm feeling. So I took a very long trip to Turkey and Tunisia, and Cara met me in Tunisia. I always say that I have faced my mortality. I took it head on, somehow made it through, and because of that, every day is a gift at this point. So you don't take it for granted.
It has been almost 4 years since I started taking Trikafta, and I still wake up every day wondering if this is the day that the medication's not gonna work anymore. Every day.
You go into your mind and you say, is this gonna last long?
I'm always waiting for the other shoe to drop.
We're so grateful to be here today and to feel as healthy as we do. It's hard to even think about how many people contributed to my life today, but we want more and for the memory of those who didn't make it so that the future kids born with CF never have to go through what we went through and what our peers who didn't even make it to this point went through.
I'm just so grateful for Trikafta and for the CF Foundation. I just truly wouldn't be here and I wouldn't have my daughter.
The Cystic Fibrosis Foundation is not gonna just stop. They want to hear everybody have a success story like mine, and the only way we can do that is we have to keep raising money.
We need more money going into research to continue to develop these drugs and eventually that cure for CF.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.